French lawmakers want to put a stop to sharenting. Everything Everywhere All at Once emerges as Oscar's favorite. SVB fallout spreads around world. SUV's 44-hour collapse was rooted in bonds losses. Prostate cancer treatment has safer alternative. Red tide flares up on Florida coast. Drunk drivers' cars are being sent to Ukraine by Latvia. Berlin to let everyone go topless at public swimming pools.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It's Monday, March 13th, and here are your top stories. According to different studies, the average child has their picture shared online 1,300 times before the age of 13. That's before they are even authorized to create their own social media profile on Facebook or Instagram. But French members of parliament want to put a stop to this. Currently, an anti-sharenting bill is being debated in the country's Senate. Sharenting is the name of this trend, posting your child on social media, a portmanteau of words, sharing and parenting.
In the proposed bill, one of the clauses being put forward aims to make parents responsible for the privacy rights of their children who cannot consent to their images being uploaded online. In the most extreme cases, a family judge could even take away one parent's rights to share images of their child if deemed excessive or harmful. This proposed law also looks to punish influencer parents looking to gain followers and earn money by posting images of their children.
Everything Everywhere All at Once has emerged as the most improbable heavyweights of the Oscars, beginning at 8 p.m. East Time and airing live on ABC. An absurdist indie that pairs existentialism and everything bagels, released way back in March last year, is not just heading for a few possible wins at the Oscars. It's poised to steamroll. It's garnered 11 nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress for Michelle Yeoh, and Best Supporting Actor for Ke Huy Quan.
The film has dominated nearly every awards show in Hollywood ahead of the Oscar. While Cate Blanchett had long been favored to win a third Best Actress Oscar for Tar, Everything Everywhere, Love could propel Yeoh to a historic first win by an Asian woman in the category. Ke Huy Quan, the former child star of Indiana Jones and The Temple of Doom, has won every Best Supporting Actor prize going and looks near certain to complete a comeback story for the ages.
The fallout from the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank SVB is beginning to spread around the world. Fears of contagion have reached Canada, India, and China. Last Saturday, the leaders of roughly 180 tech companies in the UK sent a letter calling on Chancellor Jeremy Hunt to intervene. They said in the letter, the loss of deposits has the potential to cripple the sector and set the ecosystem back 20 years. Many businesses will be sent into involuntary liquidation overnight. However, this is just the beginning.
SVB had branches in China, Denmark, Germany, India, Israel, and Sweden. Founders of startups are warning that the bank's failure could wipe out startups around the world without government intervention. SVB's joint venture in China, SPD Silicon Valley Bank Company, was seeking to calm local clients overnight by reminding them that operations have been independent and stable. Depositors said they generally require a lot of cash to pay for hefty expenditures, including research and development costs and staff salaries.
Following a frenetic 44 hours of tech startups yanked deposits, Silicon Valley Bank collapsed into Federal Deposit Insurance Corp. Receivership all of a sudden last Friday. According to Bloomberg, SVB's severe losses on long-term bonds caused it to have mark-to-market losses in excess of $15 billion at the end of 2022. In a meeting late last week, Moody's Investor Service had bad news for SVB. The bank's unrealized losses meant it was at serious risk of a credit downgrade.
Around that same time, last Thursday afternoon, SVB was reaching out to its biggest clients, stressing that it was well capitalized. But in fact, SVB didn't have nearly as much capital as an institution that should have had. Last Friday, before noon, the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation closed SVB and appointed the FDIC as receiver. According to Bloomberg, the total deposits in SVB in March 2021 were about $124 billion. But the media said more than 93% of domestic deposits in the bank are uninsured.
Day Lan. Today is Tuesday.
Commercial.
Traveler 是旅行者。
I have to wait for click.
So he or she is at the Columbia Towers Hotel gift store. 所以他在这个饭店的礼品店，然后他要买东西。Okay, so let's take this chance and listen to the.
学习让生活充满乐趣。FUNDAY 英语。
Researchers have found long-term evidence that actively monitoring localized prostate cancer is a safe alternative to immediate surgery or radiation. The results, released last Saturday, are encouraging for men who want to avoid treatment-related sexual and incontinence problems. The study directly compared the three approaches: surgery to remove tumors, radiation treatment, and monitoring. They found that most prostate cancer grows slowly, so it takes many years to look at the disease's outcomes.
Lead author Dr. Freddie Handy of the University of Oxford said men diagnosed with localized prostate cancer shouldn't panic or rush treatment decisions. Instead, they should consider carefully the possible benefits and harms caused by the treatment options. Researchers followed more than 1,600 UK men and found the patient's cancer was confined to the prostate. At 15 years, cancer had spread in 9.4% of the active monitoring group, 4.7% of the surgery group, and 5% of the radiation group.
U.S. Florida's southwest coast experienced a flare-up of the toxic red tide algae last week, setting off concerns that it could continue to stick around for a while. The current bloom started last October. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, FWC, last Friday reported that it had found red tide in 157 samples along Florida's Gulf Coast. Nearly 2 tons of debris, mainly dead fish, were cleared from Pinellas County beaches and brought to the landfill.
The red tide in the Gulf of Mexico, a toxic algae bloom that occurs naturally, is worsened by the presence of nutrients such as nitrogen in the water. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission warns people to not swim in or around red tide waters over the possibility of skin irritation, rashes and burning, and sore eyes. People with asthma or lung disease should avoid beaches affected by the toxic algae. It said about 454 kilograms of dead fish have been cleared from St. Pete Beach since the start of the month.
Cars seized by Latvian authorities as part of drunk driving violations are being shipped to Ukraine in an act of solidarity with the war-battered country. Authorities in the Baltic nation, which began confiscating cars from motorists driving under the influence of alcohol in November, transported 8 vehicles this week. The State Revenue Service said they will be used for the Ukrainian military and hospitals. As many as 200 more are awaiting transportation. The auto deliveries are the latest gesture of support from the nation of 1.9 million.
In Latvia, motorists who have a blood alcohol level of 3 times the legal limit risk having their cars seized. The seized autos are being moved by a non-government organization, Agendum, which has been delivering donated cars for over a year. The country's finance minister, Arvils Astradins, said in a statement last week on the decision to hand over the cars, "I believe that every activity and support, big or small, brings us closer to victory in this senseless war."
The Berlin state government said last Thursday women in Berlin will soon be allowed to go topless at the city's public swimming pools, like men. The new bathing rules allowing everyone to go swimming without covering their torsos followed a discrimination complaint by a woman who was not allowed to go topless in a swimming pool in the capital. In the past, women who bared their breasts at Berlin pools were asked to cover themselves or to leave the pool, and were sometimes banned from returning.
The Berlin Senate for Justice, Diversity, and Anti-Discrimination said in a written statement the woman whose identity was not revealed had turned to the Senate's ombudsperson's office for equal treatment to demand that women, like men, can swim topless. In reaction to the complaint and the ombudsman's involvement in the case, the Berliner Baderbetrieb, which runs the city's public pools, decided to change its clothing rules. It was not immediately clear when exactly the new bathing rules would be applied.
FUNDAY News will help you sharpen your English skills and keep you informed about international current events. If you want to know more about our other programs and keep learning about the world's most important topics in English, please click the link in the description below to join FUNDAY for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I'll see you next time.